So you fucking step back now. When I say you step back.
Top Boy, Season 3 or 5, depending on how you want to count them. For those who are not familiar with the show, this is a show about the streets. It's a show about the wars and battles people face while living in poverty and growing up in the jungle. It is harsh, it is ruthless, and life is wasted over the smallest things just to survive. This is a spoiler-free review, so I'll keep details about previous seasons and this season tight-lipped while trying to get the message across. As a long-time fan, watching Dushane and Sully's journey from Summerhouse series all the way through this series, I have a personal attachment to Top Boy. Top Boy was always a glimpse into the hard life we have to go through on the estates in big cities. Growing up in East London, it all seemed too familiar. I walked the estates Top Boy was filmed on. I saw the consequences of the drug and violence culture, so this show for the most part brought some of that to light. This season kicks off where the last one left off, with Dushane and Sully having to deal with the fallout from the finale of the last season. Majority of the characters are all there. They are all growing in their own directions, and this builds towards a lot of what happens in this season. You are introduced to a new problem, and they start strong. They feel like a force to be reckoned with and make their mark quite quickly. The show also delves into the problems faced, not just living in poverty but also the system. There are aspects of immigration and rights covered too. There are a lot of positives which continue the things we loved about Top Boy, but there are a lot of things that did fall off in this season. The new problem introduced starts strong. This is going to be a big challenge for our top boys to handle. As the season goes, they get weaker. The head of this new problem is almost irrelevant, and the most relevant member of this organization shows a lot of potential, but the potential is never fully reached. The problems on the estate seems like it starts to overshadow what we are really here for, and that is the epic conclusion of our crew, and it feels like that starts to take a back seat along the way. Now we have to go into Dushane and Sully. We have watched both their journeys and it seemed like it's going to go and get real deep as it explores their complicated relationship. Their battle between loyalty and business is something which has always kept us intrigued, kept us interested, kept us here. All these things are touched on in the season, but it feels like a diet or a light version. It feels like the season should have been so much more explosive, especially considering everything that I built to this season is coming to a head. Stefan gets some limelight too, but the season is so short. As his journey starts, it comes to a close a little too soon because the season ends. There's not much time. It's like 6 episodes is like almost nothing when you're talking about concluding almost we got 4 seasons behind us that you gotta conclude. Like 6 episodes just doesn't cut it. I know a lot of critics are praising this, but I feel like they ain't watching the same show as I am. I wasn't satisfied. I love these characters and I love how real the show was. Everything in the season, it felt like some things didn't feel real. Grudges were let go of too easy. Consequences weren't as weighted. The streets felt a lot less harsh than the streets we know and the streets we've come to know in Top Boy. Not gonna lie, this season wasn't satisfying. I didn't feel like it did justice to the characters, to the streets, anything. It all started strong. It had all the pieces down but never used it the way that Top Boy normally does. The season also was too short, so a lot of the pieces were rushed or concluded way too quickly. This season, in my opinion, is a season of potentials. A ton of potential, and none of them reached. This is the weakest season of the show to me, and the conclusion of it all could have been so much more explosive, so much deeper. Overall, just short. Dushane and Sully are such deep characters at this point. They got so much history, so much behind them. When you put that much behind 2 people and that much behind the crew overall, and you're gonna wrap up the story, there's a lot of things to conclude, a lot of feelings, a lot of loyalties, a lot of things you gotta address. And when you give a light version where you're just like, let's make sure we've checked the tick boxes, that's it. Check this tick box, check that tick box. Not do it properly. It just fell short. Anyways, say less.